Hi, Mercy. How are you? Right now, I'm playing you cool songs on Volts 104.3 FM, and the song I'm playing right now is Aroma by Zoro featuring Ken Z. I hope you're tuned in. If you're not in Enugu and you're across Nigeria, you can download the Radio Garden app and join us, okay? How you doing, my guy? Wagwan to you as well. Hope you're doing great. Big greetings to you too. Big greetings all the way from Nigeria, Enugu. Wow. Sure. Everywhere balance, my guy. Everywhere balance. Happy to have you here, man. Respect to you as well. You know you're talking already. Fly. It's true. Oh, thank God, making sure it's true. Nobody but you, it's you. All night, all night. How you doing? How you doing, my guy? All right, so we're going back on air to give them a massive get into my zone. All right, you ready? All right, yes, so my wonderful people, guess what? We're very much locked in with the most exciting people on YouTube Volt Express Live. Yes, yes, yes. In case you're wondering where I get all this energy from, right? This is exactly where I get it from. The YouTube Volt Express community who always show up. Big shout out to Cecilia. Big shout out to everyone who tunes in from all over the globe. I'm seeing wonderful people joining us all the way from Turkey. We're seeing wonderful people joining us all the way from Enugu as well. And of course, from every corners of the earth. Aside the Epstein Island. All right. All right, let's go right into it. This has been amazing, amazing times in our country. And of course, we've seen a lot of faces recently graze the Nigerian borders. And well, people are asking the real question, who is Kai Cenat and why we care? Well, Kai Cenat, if you know Sabi who Imbi, is one of the biggest streamers on the planet Earth. Trust me, guys, this guy is big. When I'm talking about big, he's big with the numbers. He's also big with the outputs he's been creating. He also created the Streamers University, which has gone global and has had graduates like Shank, who is also a streamer here in Nigeria, participate in one of the marathons they had in their streaming communities. And of course, he's done so much for content creators, done so much for streamers, done so much for entertainers as well. He's found something real and of course turned it into something worthwhile. Yes, for entertainment and for the people at the grassroots, this guy has reignited hope for them, all right? And of course, this guy has broken a ton of Twitch records, millions plus subs, and trust me, international outreach everywhere possible. When he first landed in Lagos in 2024, he wasn't just here to chop jollof. Trust me, guys, he wasn't here about the comparison between Ghana jollof and Nigerian jollof. No, he was here because he found something real. He visited Makoko, the floating community where kids were packed in one classroom. He was visibly moved and made a promise and said, you know what, guys, I love Nigeria so much. Nigeria is home. You know, you've embraced me so much. You've let me know that I'm part of you. You've even given me a name. The last time he was here in Nigeria, they gave him a name, Femi, and they forced that name on him, I must add, right? So he comes back after a few years, a few months or years, and says, you know what? It's time to actualize that dream and, of course, that promise I made about building a school. And, well, of course, rumors have it and reactions went ballistic. A lot of celebrations in the area in Lagos at this time. Social media has been on very much crazy mode since his arrival. Some Nigerians were hyping the fact that Kai, now one of us. Others, they skeptical about him coming. They're wondering what a guy like him all the way from the US could offer Nigerians. And, well, he has taken it upon himself to actually do something your government is not doing. All right, yes, your guys at the top are not doing anything. So this guy all the way from America has decided to build schools, and you can imagine that somebody comes all the way from his country, you know, thinks about how to help himself and decides to help an entire country, entire neighborhood, right, to give them school, since the government in that particular state has done nothing about it. And of course, is this for real? Yes, it is definitely for real. And the promise was made, so we hold him to it, right? And I guess that's why one of the reasons why he's in Nigeria. And of course, let's talk about the school pledge, right? That's the number one thing why he's in Nigeria for. And of course, we're chopping it up out here. Well, he is pumping a lot of money. Some people are talking about how much money has he even pumped in so far. Well, let's talk dollars and, of course, Nigeria. When Kai was moved by the conditions in Makoko, he pledged to raise a $5 million school projects for the kids. That's roughly over 5 billion naira. Yes, that's a huge amount. That's a huge amount. That's a considerable amount to think that we have billionaires in this country who can take it upon themselves, yes, to build these schools. And of course, when I talk about schools, I'm not just talking about putting brown zinc and calling one local government chairman to come and commission it. No, I'm talking about proper schools, because our kids, they need to go back to school. They need to understand the importance of education. They need to understand that quality education means quality life, all right? So this guy took it upon himself. He saw the amount of ruins Makoko was in and said, you know what, this can't be happening. This can't be really how people live when he is approximately worth millions and millions of dollars. He's buying expensive cars every day in the US because US has a working system, has a functional system. And of course, he talked about how the leaders in this country are quite disappointing, that he sees a lot of news circulating that Nigerian leaders are buying cars, expensive cars, buying the new MI BMW cars, buying Range Rover Evoques in high volumes, in large editions, and of course cannot bring out a $5 million sum that seems to be chicken change to a lot of billionaires in this country to give the people of Nigeria better schools and better education. He was really saddened and moved to, create something so iconic like giving out schools. And trust me, guys, it doesn't just stop there. He didn't just talk, he structured the efforts. Well, the Kaizenat Foundation also incorporations has given so many outputs to underdeveloped countries. We've seen what he has done in underdeveloped cities as well. He's also a registered charity organization. He keeps receipts and operations very transparent so that everyone can get involved. And of course, they can hold him and say he did not fulfill his own obligation. Also, 15% of that revenue from his record-breaking Mafia Ton third is tagged for this project. That's roughly $750,000 already earmarked, plus other funds. Trust me, this guy is going all the way. At last report, over $1.1 million has been raised towards the goal. So yes, he's going all the way, aside the fact that he's gotten money from investors to make this reality come to life, to make this dream, I'll say, come to life, of building a state-of-the-art school for the students and for the children of Makoko. Well, the community are very much happy, but word on the streets is that a few people who live in that vicinity are not happy with the outcome, and this is why. Nigeria is a country, I am afraid to say this, but it's true. We thrive on the chaos of other people, and it's very sad. This man pays over 5 billion naira for schools to be built, and he comes back after 2 years to see that not even a state-of-the-art structure was raised at the place where he positioned for site, right? And not just that, he comes back to the country to see brown zincs on a building that is supposed to be brand new, right? When Julius Berger goes to work and says, they are going to create an environment so conducive that even outsiders would want to come and live, right? And they go out of their way to make projects that are world class, that stand the test of time. Now, this was exactly what Kaizenat was hoping to do. But then, to his surprise, he got disappointed. He raised a lot of alarms talking about this wasn't what he signed up for. And apparently, the people who were in charge of building that particular school sent him a diagram of the planning of what they plan to erect on that site, and apparently comes back to Nigeria. This is not a citizen, I must add. This guy is not a citizen. This guy is a guy who just loves the country. We've embraced him so much. We've given him so much of food. He has loved the culture. He loves the people and decides to give back. And what our people decide to do is to siphon the money this guy imputes for a school. They show him a site that is incomplete. I mean, if somebody is paying 5 billion naira, okay, let's call it $5 million because he's an American. This is what he donated, right? And this is what he pledged. If he's giving $5 million to a constructor and they don't meet up that obligation, shouldn't that construction operation or the office who are in charge of this particular building answer to the authorities, right? Because I don't think it is right. I don't think it is right in any form that somebody out of his way would want to do an act of goodwill, and he comes back to the country and the school is halfway done, and the school is not even halfway done. Sorry, and a lot of areas that was shown in that video that they were inspecting showed a lot of bushy and unkept areas, like they had already not fumigated the area, like there was an oversight when taking care of that operation, right? Because I feel $5 million is enough for you to get that place cleared. The place was looking quite bushy, looking dilapidated, looking forgotten, and then you're trying to show this guy like he does not have sense. Now he comes all the way from America to inspect a school he has paid huge money for, gotten investors on board, and you're showing him an environment where people are knocking carpentry work in the same location. Our people, it's embarrassing how we represent Nigeria, honestly. And I must add this, right? Lagos State is not the only Nigerian state where foreigners can come and tour. It is very important to state this. Call it an overreach in in communication, but it's true, right? We have 36 states in this country. And for some reason, it is only Lagos State that seems to be getting the whole idea of civilization. No, let me just say this. For those who are watching right now on our YouTube live, Lagos State is not the only state. Lagos State is just one state in the entire 36 states of Nigeria. And of course, there are numerous other states that would respect the pledge a man all the way from America has made, yes, to build schools for children out of school, children begging on the streets. And this is something he took upon himself. He wasn't contacted by any government agency. Nobody asked him to come and help us or anything. This is something he thought was right, since the people who are the helm of affairs cannot do the right thing, And of course, we tend to look and turn the other cheek or turn the other eye when things like this start to go wrong, and then they call out Africans and say Nigerians are frauds and this and that. This idea and this narrative needs to go, right? Because when people contract you to deliver service, they're expecting to see exactly what they paid for. They're expecting to hear and get reports of exactly the planning that was sent to them 2 years ago to see how that turned out. And well, so far so good. Kai Cenat has shown that he's been quite disappointed with the rate at which the school has been built. The contractors are not taking it serious. They are not even held accountable. Like we've sunk so much in our society that even people who are contracted to do jobs now feel they can do these jobs so wayward-like, so unprepared, so unkept. Yes, that's the word to use, because I don't see why I will pay you to build me a school and I come back 2 years later and the environment is not even well lawned. It is not kept. It is not showing signs that a school is about to be erected here. It doesn't speak well about those people at all. And I don't know if Nigerians still have any drop of shame in them, but I think that at this point that Kai Cenat really needs to contact the people who he left in charge of this project. It is quite sad to come back to a country after 2 years. This is 2026. Last time he was here is 2024. He comes back to the country and is seeing an uncompleted building. If it was somewhere in any other part of Nigeria, I trust that people would have jumped on that project and made sure to deliver, because it's all about integrity. We talk like we move this country so much like we don't have any more integrity left in any of us. And the people who have integrity, I don't know where they are. They need to start speaking up, right? Especially business owners, constructors, and construction engineers, and of course, numerous people who have integrity in their businesses need to start speaking up, because this is not right. I don't see why a man from a long way would pay such a huge amount and, of course, cannot get exact quality for what he is paid for. It is an eyesore for the school we saw, and a lot of people, unserious people who have decided they were going to put Nigeria down through remarks, started laughing in the background, talking about, are you surprised? This is Nigeria now, that things move at a certain kind of speed. This is a guy who's paid huge amounts for a school. And I want to put it to you that 5 billion naira equivalent of $5 million is not a small amount. I think we've had so much leaders who have embezzled and degraded the naira so much that it now seems that as big an amount that $5 million sounds like, the people will want to water it down. Like I saw a comment on social media, somebody talking about now common $5 million, they make people shout, say, Kai Cenat invest. Common $5 million, they call $5 million common. If I see $5 million right now, I have automatically retired, right? I'm retiring at 30, right? I don't even want to work anymore if I get that kind of amount. Yes. Now, this guy goes out of his way to invest He's not dashing the state government of Lagos State that money. He's not dashing the constructors that money. He made a pledge to the children of Makoko community. He made a stern pledge because of the state of Makoko community, a floating community the government has abandoned for so many years. You know, it's very sad. It's very sad to come back after 2 years to see that place still in a very despicable state. And of course, he went to visit the state governor. I'm talking about Sanwo-Olu this time, and Sanwo-Olu is dabbing him. And instead of reassuring this young man and letting him know that he adores the fact that he took out time to visit communities like Makoko and decides to invest heavily into that community. You know, a floating community is nothing to write home about when you're not an island. You know, it's quite an eyesore what we saw in that video. Also, the last outing he had, he talked about how Nigerians seem to be living good as aside the fact that we are painted as a very poor demographic country, right? So everybody outside and beyond Nigeria keeps claiming that Nigeria is poor, but when he comes into the country, he sees a lot of people riding in Rolls Royce. He sees a lot of people riding in Lamborghinis. He sees a lot of Porsches. Sees a lot of girls who he never even thought was possible. He had the wrong impression when he came into Nigeria. Now to see Nigeria actually doing better than what people portray this country to be, but still have a poverty-stricken mindset was quite a tear dropping event to witness, right? And of course, his foundation has sworn that they will do all they can, since Kai also realized that he had some percentage of him in his blood and his descendants as Nigerians. And yes, well, his first trip was quite wild. He came down, he met the governor, saw school conditions, and trust me, yeah, there was no shame within the state government of Lagos State to even shield their embarrassment. Imagine coming to Enugu and then Peter Mbai is showing one of the most iconic streamers in the world, one of the worst areas in Enugu, and you're expecting the rest of Enugu people to clap. That was exactly the embarrassment that was shown to this guy in his store in Lagos. You know, we tend to overlook these things. Image matters a lot. Image beyond Nigeria matters a lot. The Western world would never take Nigerians serious if we cannot prioritize the importance of having children in school. They would never take us serious if we continue to allow our children roam around begging. We used to be such a respectable country. We used to have people with integrity say they will build schools and build state-of-the-art schools. That was how UNN was birthed. That was how ASUT was birthed. That was how IMT was birthed. That was how Anambra State University was birthed. That was how numerous institutions in this great land was birthed. And now we have a set of leaders who do not care. They are busy with photo ops and taking pictures and making themselves look good. This is a part where, as entertainers, we need to start giving back to our fans, and not just giving back. We need to start doing something quality. You know, with all the money people pump into the entertainment industry, oil and gas personnel pump into the industry. We have creatives from other countries pump into universities in Nigeria. It is quite sad to see billions and billions of dollars pumped into the entertainment industry, and not even one entertainer could take it upon himself to erect a school. It took Kai Cenat to come all the way after 2 years to Nigeria to check up on a school that was not even ready. I mean, in a reasonable society, let's call a spade a spade. When this guy is coming back home, we should have rollouts, right?